explore this very fascinating theme, ladies and gentlemen, we ask, what is the impact of the fourth industrial revolution on business, and particularly SMEs? To answer this question and more, it's my pleasure to invite the following to take their place up here. Mr. Cecil Sumpambios, Mr. Samuel Amano, Mr. Philip Soa, Mr. Martin Atafin, Mr. Tara Square, Mr. Grant Weber, Madame Angela Chiramatintimo, and Mr. Yao Ogusu. A round of applause to our amazing panelists. And to moderate this all-important panel, it's my pleasure to welcome up here the host of the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM, yours truly, Mr. Daniel Dazi.
As Jerry was kind enough to say earlier, my name is Daniel Daze. I host the Super Morning Show on Joy FM. And it's my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon to welcome you to 2018. Our ports are paperless, passport forms are online, and 77% of Ghanaians are on Facebook. Yeah. In spite of these strides that we have chalked over the years, there's still a few challenges, a deficit in skilled labor for growing ICT industry. We wait for days to register our businesses, and don't get me started on the cost of data in Ghana. So for businesses looking to grow within these opportunities and compete globally, how do we fully embrace this digital revolution we all speak of and use it for our benefit? This afternoon, I have with me 6 gentlemen who will help us explore just that. These represent organizations at the very edge of the fourth industrial revolution in Ghana, pushing the boundaries so we can follow. They'll be introducing themselves now. If, gentlemen, you can please mention your names and the organizations you represent.
My name is Martin Atafin. I am the consultant leader in Deloitte. My name is Philip Soa. I'm a partner with Nubuke, Business and Investment Advisory.
My name is Samuel Amano, founder and CEO for Blue Space Africa.
My name is Cecil Sumpambios. I'm the Managing Director of Multi-Jobs Ghana.
My name is Grant Weber, founder and CEO of Black Star Africa.
My name is Tara Square.
A round of applause for them. Now they are the ones who will be telling us what to do, but before they begin, let's just give ourselves a gentle reminder of how we got here. So we're talking about the fourth industrial revolution. The first one started way back in the 1700s, when human beings got tired of building things with their hands, and we made machines powered by water and steam to begin production. Of course, that was not enough. And so in the 1800s, electricity came along, and the very spark that lights this room that we are sitting in made it possible for us to automate, and we began to automate production. Some familiar brands like Ford vehicle came along. Decades later, the third industrial revolution came along. I'm sorry, the second one was for mass production. Forgive me. The third one is when we use electronics and technology to automate. Now, we have an exciting new fourth industrial revolution. New terms like data analytics, artificial intelligence, big data, and what have you. But what does it mean for us, really? Particularly when we want to make our bottom line at the end of the year. These gentlemen will help us. Let me go back around the table first of all. And I want you to tell us, I'll start from Tara this time, how you have seen the fourth industrial revolution being made relevant in the Ghanaian space. So we'll have a few minutes each to address this.
Today, at the push of a button, either being a mobile money, internet banking, you'll be able to send money. Today, banks like us have gone into partnership with some of the card schemes, and we're providing QR payments, so you can simply scan and money is taken from your bank account and it pays a supplier. I think to take it a bit further, some of us have gone into using bots so that people can help themselves. So today, for example, with EcoBank, you can go into Facebook Messenger. I like that you said 77% of Ghanaians are on Facebook. You can go into Facebook Messenger and actually generate a QR code for yourself to facilitate your payments. You can open an account via Facebook Messenger. At the same time, you can also speak to a customer. You can also get your customer service issues addressed through Facebook Messenger. So we've basically sort of straddled the third and the fourth industrial revolutions in a bid to make life better for our consumers and, of course, make our businesses a bit more efficient where we are now. So I think I would basically want to stop here in terms of how we have embraced the fourth industrial revolution in the various businesses in which we are.
I think that addresses that very well. I mean, I've been spending all morning on Facebook. I didn't know I could have opened a bank account there.
Yeah, you can look for EcoBank Pay with Rafiki.
Are you paying for this? Forgive me. I'll move on now to Grant. And in answering these questions, I would love for you to tell us the role that you personally are playing. I know that Tara sits at the top of all that is happening when it comes to the digital revolution in EcoBank. So I'll give you an extra 30 seconds to please just let us know personally so that if someone wants to corner you when we finish, they know exactly what to ask.
Okay, first of all, my job is I'm responsible for consumer banking within EcoBank, and the consumer banking space is where a lot of the innovation happens. So all the things that enable a consumer to basically move money without having to interface with a physical branch happens within that space. So a shift from traditional retail banking where you have to walk into a banking hall, brick and mortar, to actually how do you serve yourself and how do we make it easier for you. So yes, if you want to talk to us about anything, then I like to steal from the Hollard message that they don't just do insurance, they do partnership. We'd like to steal a bit from that, if you permit me.
Okay. So we are already learning some marketing techniques from the SMEs and Young CEOs Summit. Grant, so you tell us first of all how you have seen it play out in Ghana and what role you're playing with it.
Yes, so from an operating point of view, I agree with Tara. We focused our fourth industrial revolution operations on very basic service delivery. It's no good being a pioneer and pushing too far forward and there's no market. So as a businessman, I need to be able to know that I have traction in the technologies that we're supplying. So we try not to push too far forward. I think pioneers get shot. The guys that are on the front get shot. So we believe that strategy perhaps is the second or even third wave mover. We were always taught in business school that the first mover advantage. It's not always advisable intent for the first mover. Having said that, interoperability and mobile money and all of that, well, the first mover guys are the big players. But we believe in second or third wave from a security and a risk management point. So from an ops point of view, we look for technologies which enhance efficiency in existing operations. Data analytics, absolutely vital, because there hasn't been much of that. I think Ghana must be applauded for their investment in basic infrastructure, fiber, etc., as an enabler. A few years ago, these basic things were not possible. In fact, in some places in Ghana, they're still not. So it's still very much at the basic level. The efficiency and automation, absolutely right. I think the modernization drive of the government and pushing for digitization is something that we focus on a lot right now. From an investment portfolio point of view, I have a very different philosophy. We have three key themes. One is startup to scale. So anything that I'm investing in, and it's my own money, has to scale quickly. Blitz scaling is a term that's used. The other is women in technology. In Africa, I'm a big believer in tech driven by women, and not investing in women because they're women, but investing in them because they're good. And I think the third important one is we look for investable schemes which are uncool. I hate cool things because they're cool today and uncool tomorrow. So we look for problems to be solved in our investment products. And these would be in the area of agriculture, education perhaps, and energy specifically, where a lot more money is required. They're project-driven, they're big. And there we look through London and Stellenbosch in South Africa as investment hubs, and we co-invest with professionals. So we have two distinct themes: operating at grassroots and investing for the future.
Right, thanks a lot, Grant. And let me just say that for someone who looks at uncool things, you're looking very hip this night. Essential. A lot of people will say that for someone who works in broadcasting, you sit totally on technology, and so you see them as they come. Is that the case?
Not completely, because we've got a bit of the third revolution, industrial revolution. We still got also the fourth, because of the different types of products we have. Although moving more into the fourth. We've been thriving through the change.
I crave your indulgence that you speak up a bit more.
Sure. We've been thriving through the change, thriving through the change, with developing the business to customer services and products, and at the same time business to business. So you will find that over the years, moving from analog to digital in terms of the products that we give and services, and also in the area of, if you take payments, for example, we've got numerous partnerships. These are some. Initially, it started off with banks. It's moved on. I think the first one was Stanchart, where it was a semi-automated form where you walk in and pay. Today, we're doing most of our payments are coming through mobile money, and also some other apps that are being used. These were all partnerships that we developed together. The other arm is actually accessing service remotely through the devices you use, either your laptop or your phone, to determine what you want to watch. You can watch offline, whether you're not behind the TV, or you can travel with content that you can download. So there's a mix that we've used, but at the same time, we've still got a group of clientele and customers that also depend on semi-automated processes to access the services. So we've also developed third-party partnerships where we can walk through and pay through the fully fourth industrial generated stuff. Inside the company, there's been a significant drive towards what we now under data analytics, what we call CVM, where we're beginning to look more at the behavior, trends of customers, viewing patterns, preferences, what is most convenient for the customer. And with partners, we're beginning to develop new ways to bring a lot of convenience on delivery of services and products across both ways.
Right. Thanks a lot, sir. So can you hand the mic please to Samuel? And I heard Samuel I saw him begin to nod a lot when Cecil was talking about data analytics and looking at consumer behavior, because we understand what that's the space, the blue space is in, among others, of course.
Yes, thank you. And I think my colleagues have sort of echoed the benefits of the fourth industrial. Let's go back to basics a little bit, right? In the universities in Ghana today, what we're finding is that ICT is now mature. Right? So typically, if you hear ICT, it wasn't cool before. Right? If you hear data scientist, that term, which is basically the practitioner, the guy who supports data analytics, right? Payments, for example, Tara was talking about, has to do with understanding fintech technology, right? So what we do as Blue Space, basically, we are the architects, we are the solution providers for the banking sector, as well as for the media sector, as well as for the Hollands of the world. We're providing the human capital needed, as well as the technical solutions that tariffs of the world will use, right? So for example, tariffs environment rides on the data center. So Blue Space will come in, design the data center requirements, put into it all the ingredients that the fourth industrial revolution requires. So for example, Tara would like to know how many new customers he would get on social media, which is something we call customer intelligence, right? We have solutions that will help. The other thing we're doing is we think Ghana can solve Ghanaian problems with Ghanaian talent. So in the last 3 months, working with the World Bank, we've set up the Ghana Innovation Hub, which is at the Accra Digital Center. And some of the things we're doing there is to basically grow local capacity engineers who can basically talk about data science, talk about fintech, talk about data center without feeling shy. But not just talking about it, but giving them access to tools within the global partnerships that we have. So for example, we work with a company called Finastra. Finastra is the largest fintech in Europe, basically helping with issues around treasury. How do you manage your cash? How do you manage the flow of your investments and the risk of your investments, right? Knowing real time how things work for you. The scope of the fourth industrial revolution is very large. Right? So having a playground for the work community to come and play with is something we want to help with, and that's how we are getting involved in the fourth industrial revolution.
And that's one thing that really excites me when you say that the scope is large. That means that, like an elephant, you can hold it at any point and make something different out of it. Yes, and let me move to you now. So I want to understand, first of all, what part of this elephant that you are holding and how it's going for you.
Okay, thank you very much. At Nabucco, we do a number of different things. Basically, we advise large and small companies, and large and governments. So there's that aspect. For me, what excites me most is our work with smaller companies. I advise on the board of a company, for example, called M-Pharma. M-Pharma is a company, is a pharmaceutical tech firm in Ghana here. And basically, it's a Ghanaian and 2 Americans who developed a system where they can assist people with chronic diseases afford to pay their medical bills in small increments, something called UTI. And the beauty of it is, if you look at the Amazon model, where you develop technology for one purpose, but then you can reuse it in many different ways. And this is an application that we can see that has potential to replicate it in many different spheres. The second is a company that we're just helping to market here in Ghana, and the focus is on communicating your services. For example, right now, if you go to any of the large companies, if you want to communicate your service, let's take EcoBank or Holiday, they have 3 different phone numbers. They have a website. They have a Facebook page. They have a Twitter handle. They have all these different channels of communication. Now, what this company looks to do is to harmonize all those different channels into one 4 or 5 digit number. So you dial a number, and if you have a smartphone, it gives you all the options. You want to talk, you want to go to the website, you want to go to an app, you want to go to Twitter, and that is where I think everyone's talking about the third and fourth revolution. You don't want to run to class because we've not milked everything we can out of the third revolution. So that is really the key, is to see how do we get the best benefits out of it.
Right, thanks so much. Thanks so much. Let me come to you now. Deloitte has been around for about 150 years. That means you've probably seen every way that accounting is done in this world, from the last century till now. So how are those changes applied in your organization?
So, very interestingly, Deloitte, what we do is try to handhold clients through these changes. So that is how we make sure that those changes actually apply. Because most often, some clients either are applying a wait and see what will happen, or they get disrupted by what is happening, and then there's chaos. So for those who are interested, we try to hold their hands and say, this is how best you can take advantage of this revolution that is going on. So what we do is we try to get into your environment and help you to develop a strategy which will help you to digitalize if you have to. And basically to help you to ensure that you have efficiency and not playing with your quality. to implement some work around the chips compounds. Now, that area is where we are seeking to say, with all of these chips compounds, they are looking at helping to solve health problems. But really, most of our health problems can be solved on a preventive basis. So they have to look at it from that perspective. That is the community health nurses, volunteers, to be able to help to prevent. They need information, they need data, they need to have a monitoring and evaluation system that sits on top of that. And to make it cheaper, we have to look at how you can apply that using mobile. So those are the concepts and the thinking that we can put on the table to be able to help to drive those kinds of situations.
Wow. One running theme that I find with all of you is how your clients or your customers are accepting it. So I hear a lot of talk about we don't want to push too fast, we have to drag people along, we have to educate people. Let me come to you, Samuel, with this one. When you are engaging clients, what are the challenges that you face with people accepting new ways of doing things?
Change, it's a very hard thing. Right? I think what my good friend just mentioned about taking people through a journey can only happen when they see the tangible benefits and the tangible impact to their own businesses, right? I'm sure all of us use WhatsApp because it's a no-brainer. It makes sense, right? Now, if there's a solution or there's a technology way